Come on up, Rick. Mr. Rick Wisecaver, go ahead. Let's hear it for him. He's a veteran, military veteran as well.
Thank you. All right, guys, I'm getting a little fired up. I'm starting to see what the problem is. If there's anybody out here that's an elected official, please come forward. Any elected official, come on forward. Crickets. We got one? Where at? There's one. There's a dirty dog. All right, we may have another problem. Is there anybody here from the Republican leadership in Muskingum County? Come on up. Crickets. All right, let's be fair. If there's anybody here from the Democratic Party in the leadership position, come on up. Crickets. You guys starting to see our problem? We voice our concerns. We call our congressmen. They don't care. You look at our parties, the people we go to put our candidates in. They don't care. Let me tell you guys something. I'm a Christian. I'm a conservative. I'm a veteran. The greatest part of my life has been accepting Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. And the second was serving the United States of America, United States Army. I got out of the Army back in 2008, August 29th. I decided I was going to get involved. I started working on the John McCain campaign. I seen we lost. I seen a lot of things we did wrong. I go to the party leadership, I give them ideas. Guess what? They didn't hear it. Crickets. I go to our party leadership, just like, let's go back 222 years. June 28, 1787. Constitutional Convention got together in Philadelphia. They come together, they've been there for a month. Sweltering heat, there was no air conditioning. They couldn't agree on anything. They were revising the Articles of Confederation. They were ready to give up and go home. Benjamin Franklin stood up, being the oldest statesman there, and called the place to prayer. He called on Congress to every day after that to begin their services with an opening prayer. Guess what? They didn't just revise the Articles of Confederation. They wrote the Constitution. Give it up, guys. It's the Constitution of the United States of America. And my pastor, when he preaches, he normally has 3 points. I'm going to tell you guys a couple of stories. I'm going to try to give you guys 3 points. This is the first one. Don't just talk about it, be about it. I'm going to tell you the story. I'm going to tell you how it applies. September 11th, 2001. I lived in Columbus in a townhouse, had a good job. Lived up there. I woke up. It's a beautiful morning. You guys remember that? Beautiful morning. Skies were blue. Birds were singing. I woke up, turned on the TV. I seen flames coming out of the side of one of the trade towers. I changed the channel. I thought it was like a train wreck, any kind of accident. It was on every channel. I walked outside. The birds were singing, the skies were blue. There were no kids playing out there. I had this strange feeling down in my gut. I knew something had changed. Our world had changed that morning, and I didn't even know what it was, but I could feel it. That's probably the same feeling you guys have in your stomachs right now. That's why you're here, isn't it? You guys know something changed. You don't know what it is, but we're figuring it out. Well, from the time I was 3 years old, I always said I wanted to be a soldier. Everybody would ask me, Rick, what are you going to do when you grow up? You're so smart, you do so good in school, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to be a soldier. On September 11th, 2001, I was almost 22 years old, and guess what? I was not a soldier. But I knew after September 11th there was going to be a war. Young men would fight, young men would die. I was just as able as they were, and I wouldn't be there. Okay? If any of you guys know what that feeling is called, it's called conviction. It's called a sense of duty. It's called doing the right thing when you're called upon. Soldiers went and fought in Afghanistan, and I couldn't be there. I felt about this big. So guess what I did? I got on the phone, talked to an Army recruiter. I joined the United States Army. Well, after all this stuff went down, I came home. War in Afghanistan was pretty much cooled off. I came back home to live in Zanesville. One day while I was out running, me and my 8-year-old nephew, his name was Bruce, 8 years old, could do 65 push-ups, 75 sit-ups, and I was just teaching him how to run. We go down Military Avenue, Military Road where the cemetery is, and he knows I love to talk. So while we're running, he keeps asking me questions. So I got to stop and talk and answer him. Well, as we're running along, he notices there's flags everywhere. He says, Uncle Ricky, what are all the flags for? I said, brother, let's walk over here and have a look. I said, it's Memorial Day weekend. These are the flags of those who came before us, who have served our country, and have died to make America the great nation it is today. Well, as we come in, any of you guys ever been to the military cemetery? Raise your hand. Act like your deodorant's all the way on there, get it up high. Most of you guys have been there, haven't you? Well, guess what? When you first walk in, you'll know there's 2 rows of headstones on the way in. Those soldiers are veterans of World War I. Every one of those guys died there. And I kind of envision it as I walk up in there. That the ghosts of these soldiers, the spirits of these soldiers are standing there, guarding the entranceway as you guys come and go. And as we was looking at the tombstones, my nephew said, well, look, that one over there is covered with bushes. I said, well, that's not going to work. So we cleaned them off. We pulled the bushes back, broke the limbs off, so everybody could see the names of these soldiers who fought for us. As we come down the line, we would stop and reach every one of those names, we'd read it, we would stand and we'd salute. Because most folks don't remember these soldiers today. Well, halfway down, we come across a soldier. His name was, and his gravestone reads, in memory of Bugler Harold Soder, enlisted as Frank C. Fergus, Company K, 58th Infantry, 1902 to 1918. Anything sound suspicious about that to you guys? You guys have to be fired up here in a minute. That sounds suspicious? He was 16 years old. 16 years old when he died. This man, this boy, because he believed in America in 1918. This is when you had to fetch a pail of water, guys. I don't remember it. Some of you guys might. He believed in America then, and he did something about it. He changed his name and enlisted in the Army during the First World War, and he carried a bugle with the infantry. Okay, so that brings me back to this. Don't just talk about it, be about it. At the age of 22, I wasn't doing anything about it. My word meant nothing. That's why I enlisted. Harold Soder, he didn't just talk about believing in America. He did something about it. He enlisted, and he fought, and he died. All you guys out here today, we talk about no Obamacare, no cap and trade, and all this good stuff. Let's quit talking about it, start being about it. We got to do more than contact your congressman. It starts right here. How many of you guys live in Zanesville? I need some more hands up, all the way up again. How many of you guys attend city council meetings? All right, guys, I got some news for you. I get this back here. Approximately 3 weeks ago or so, I started thinking, well, you know, we got national federal deficits, we've got state deficits. Chances are we're going to have a city deficit. So I called Dale Raines, the budget finance director, and asked him to send me all the income tax revenue reports from 1980. I made a chart and I started to notice a trend. 2009 has been the worst year for income tax revenue for the city of Zanesville since 1980. The worst year was, it showed a decline in 1986, 4.9%. In 2009, in May, we was down 12.5%. It's not looking good. So I take this to my city councilman, our elected city councilman, by the way, none of them are here today. I take this to him, I passed it around. I said, listen, this is what they were voting on that night. Okay, Gant Stadium, $230,000 for new concession stands, $150,000 for lighting. Secrets Auditorium, $220,000 for a loading dock, $52,000 for new stage curtains, $9,500 for new doors between the lobby and the auditorium. The skate park, $65,000. How many of you guys heard of skateboarding here tonight? Crickets. All right, we're starting to see a trend here. Okay, what it comes down to is this. Every one of you guys work hard for your money. You show up to your job, you clock in, you do what you got to do, you go home, you pay your bills. The city, the state, the federal government, they take your money, and this is what they're doing with it. They're blowing it. Jim Brown, I'm not sure if he's out there somewhere. He's run for 3rd Ward City Council. He happens to be a Republican. But he pointed something out. None of this money they're spending is going to create not one job in Zanesville. Not one job. Okay? So I'm going to challenge you guys to do something. I'm going to challenge you guys to be at the city council meeting on July 13th. Monday, it's a Monday at 7 o'clock, July 13th. Don't let it end here. Let it start here. Let's continue on to July 13th. Let's be at City Hall, and let's tell these guys. I think I've got another point here somewhere. Oh, I got an email. Matter of fact, it was yesterday morning from the city auditor. For those who didn't hear what I had to say at council 2 months ago, the city general fund has a $39,000 deficit now. So that's what's going on there. And by the way, going into July 13th, what we negative $39,000 in the general fund, and they're still going to vote to spend about $700,000. So if you guys really care about wasteful spending, come to Zanesville, come to City Hall. It's right down on 4th Street. Come inside, write out a petition, put your name on it, and go up and tell them you're tired of wasteful spending. Everybody. And I'll tell you guys something. If you don't show up and you live in the city of Zanesville, if you let them do it, you're no better than I was on September 11, 2001. No better than me. Okay, my other point that I had here was freedom requires patriots be willing to make sacrifices.